It is often said by Khipus researchers that there is no Rosetta Stone of Khipus. The Rosetta Stone, for those who don't know, is a small tablet with the same message written in Egyptian hieroglyphs, Demotic, and Greek. Researchers use the Demotic and Greek versions to decipher the Egyptian hieroglyphs, and this is the reason that we can read Egyptian hieroglyphs today. There is no Spanish document with an attached quipu, nor is there a Spanish document explaining what features were used to encode the information. So that's why researchers will say there's no Rosetta Stone of quipus. This hasn't stopped researchers from looking for a missing link between Spanish documents and quipus, however. A link has been shown between a Spanish document from 1670 for a revisita and quipus from Santa Valley, Peru. It's not exactly a Rosetta Stone, but it could take us one step closer to being able to decipher quipus. This link is discussed in the article Información, sobre tributos en un documento colonial y en un archivo de Quipus del Valle del Santa, Perú, by Manuel Medrano. The document says that 132 people, members of 6 different Pachaca groups, owed a total of 367 pesos, a quarter of a real, and a cuartillo. Pachaca is the Quechua word for 100, but it can also mean ayu in this region. This document was written by the Spanish to collect tribute from people in the Santa Valley, so it was possibly recorded onto a quipu and then distributed locally. And it is also possible that when tribute was collected at the local level, this was recorded onto a quipu for local accounting. Here are the Pachacas, and here are the quipus. Even though there are 6 Pachacas and 6 quipus, it doesn't look like each Pachaca had its own quipu. Also, the Spanish document says it's for 132 people, but only lists 130 names on that document. And there are 133 groups of pendants, so already we can see some challenges. The Santa Valley quipus are grouped by color banding. On the quipus, there are no spaces between the pendant groups, but I added spaces to the diagrams to make it easier to look at. So let's start with KH0323. Pendants are set up in groups of 6. The first few are grouped with a top chord, which don't really look like totalizers. Like if you sum up the pendant values, they don't equal the top chord value. So those groups of 6 are really easy to see. But further in the quipu, like here, there are 6 white chords, and then 6 dark brown, and then 6 brown. So for much of the Santa Valley quipus, these groups of 6 are determined by color banding. Back in the video on markedness, I introduced recto and verso. A point made in the article is that there are 70 verso chord groups and 63 recto chord groups, which may indicate a distinction between Hanan and Hurin. That is to say, 3 Pachacas are the Hanan group, and the other 3 are the Hurin group. The article says that the verso chords could represent the Pachacas Corongo, Guayuan, and Cuzca, shown here in blue. The recto chords could represent the Pachacas Namus, Cuyuchin, and Ucure, with 59 tributaries, shown here in red. Of the Santa Valley quipus, KH0323 and KH0328 all have recto pendant chords. 324, 325, and 327 are all verso. 326 has a mix of recto and verso chords. Let's look at 326 again, but instead of the normal chord color, pendants are shown in blue for verso attachment and red for recto attachment. So the tribute owed, according to the document, was 367 pesos, a quarter of a real, and a cuartillo. To get that number, researchers added together the first chord of each group, shown here with the rectangles. So theoretically, if these quipus were made from this document requesting tribute, the tribute for each person would have been the same. They would have needed to be 2 pesos, 7 reales, and 3 cuartillos. However, we don't see a recurring number 2 in the quipu, in these quipus. In the article, it's theorized that the quipus show an actual amount of tribute collected, where some more wealthy individuals may have covered the debt of poorer individuals. Even though the document says there are 132 tributaries, only 130 names are listed. Although Khipus researchers are very likely looking for a link between the names and chord colors or other features, no link has yet been published. So we'll see. Maybe I'll put out another video in a couple of years that as a correction to this one, right? In the next video, we'll be talking about narrative quipus. See you then. Bye.